Okay, so I've been doing videos and then they have me delete them, so I'm thinking they can hear me and they want me to speak. So I guess God wants me to go back to where them stones came out the sky. So I was like downtown LA, and you know, I was like, I never slept out on the ground or nothing, or slept outside, like just slept outside, unless I was like at a bus stop and fell asleep or whatever. But and I always try to make sure I made it back to the airport because it's safe, you know, as far as people fucking with you and stuff. And all these different homeless people were telling me shit was happening to them. Like these women were telling me they were raped, like old women and shit, telling me all kind of shit happened to them. So I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna be alert. Like I'm not gonna get caught out here hella asleep, because you can get tired because you're pulling your shit. You're gonna be exhausted. So I would only like sleep on the bus. Like even if I hadn't slept and I've been up all night, I would make sure I get on a bus line that would like the 232. That motherfucker go all the way to the LAX and it go all the way to Long Beach. So it's almost a 2-hour ride. It's like a hour and a half ride. So I know I can sleep there, get off the bus, and then get on the next one and then go back and sleep. And so I would get my sleep like that. Hey. But anyways, so I had went to Hollywood and Highland. I guess that was the street I was on. And I was over there for a minute, and I got into a fucking fight with these niggas, with these two niggas selling CDs and shit. And they start kicking my bags and shit, trying to fuck up my shit. And I was like, these fucking bastards. And they hit me with a CD right here in my hand. I don't know if you can see, but it's like a little scar right there. It had like dug a chunk of my meat out. And so I was just pissed. I was like, I can't believe this shit. These fucking niggas. You feel me? It was for some dumb shit. It was something stupid. They didn't like something I said, or it was something. And I really wasn't doing anything, because I don't fuck with people. I don't want nobody fucking with me. But when it got to that point, you know, I went off. And one of them hit me with the fucking CD and gouged a piece of my meat out. And I was bleeding and shit. And I went and wiped that blood on them, and they started running and shit. But before then, the motherfucker kicked my suitcase and busted all my shit out on the floor. And I was just pissed, like, ugh, you know? Like, ugh. It had to be somebody black do this shit. And that's the shit black people do. They'll fuck you up. Something they don't like about you, or something you say they don't like, they're gonna do the fucking most. They fuck you up knowing you're gonna need some of the shit that they fucking up for you. They know you're gonna need it, and they want you to be miserable. I just remember being pissed off about that, and I walked. I don't know who was in my body. I couldn't tell you. Well, I know Nipsey and Tupac was in my body for sure. But I walked off down the street with my bag and shit. My 2 suitcases in my bags. I had bags on my back. And that day, I lost one of my bags. I had a duffel bag. I lost that motherfucker that day. Or somebody stole it that day. And I went down to this street. And I remember Amon Ra was in my body, because Amon Ra told me I'm his daughter. And he was in my body and was talking. He had me talking some weird language, and he was calling me Titi. And it was like some weird language was coming out of my mouth, but I could kind of understand it. And he was talking to me. And I just remember being at this bus stop. Or not, I wasn't sitting there. I was like standing. I was walking in, and I stopped. And I just remember the sky like opening up. Like I said, it was nighttime, so it wasn't like I see anything. I just had this feeling like the sky had opened up, and something in the sky, somebody was up there. and they threw something down, and it hit me in my stomach. And they did it. It happened like 6 times, but the time when they threw it down, they were like, you had to get down on the ground. And so I got down, like I said, in a push-up position, and the stone like came down, or whatever rock, I don't know what it was. It was some shit came down. I felt the shit hit my body, and I could sense it coming down. It was like some blue type of light type, but I didn't see no light. I just like, I don't know. It was like I was having like a vision of what was going on, even though my eyes wasn't seeing it. And then I could hear somebody saying, "Get down." And so, like, I guess it was like maybe the fourth or fifth stone. It felt like somebody was like pressing on my back, because that's like doing fucking push-ups or something on the ground, and I didn't want to get dirty because it's dirty out here. I don't want to put my hands and my body all on the ground and shit. So I was like in a push-up, like in a plank position almost, and something was pressing on my back, and at the same time I'm doing this like push up, and something in my arm snapped. It was like my bone. It wasn't like muscle or nothing. It was like my bone snapped. I was like, God damn. And it hurt. And it put me in a lot of pain. And then the next two stones or whatever that fell down, I was just like in a daze, because somebody else was controlling my body at that point, because the motherfucking arm was broke. I was like, the part of me that was trying to fight it was like, fuck it. And I just remember one hit me in my head. And it just stayed there or whatever. And then I think I sat down. Like I said, I really don't remember much, because I was like in a fucking daze for like 9 days. I was like out of it. But I remember sitting at that bus stop, I guess, and then falling asleep. And then I remember waking up and I had to pee really, really bad. And so I like dragged my bag. Keep in mind, my fucking arm was hurting, so I had to push them fucking suitcases. They're on wheels. And I just remember being in pain and being like so tired, and oh my God. And I was like, I gotta go pee, and I don't want to pee on myself, but I'm hella weak. And I remember like whoever was in my body, or whatever Armin Ra was in my body, and they were like treating me like a baby. Like they were like, I'm their baby. They were calling me their baby. It was like, we gotta take care of the baby. And and then what else happened after that? And then, like I said, then that's when I started hearing Kid Cudi. I started hearing like I started hearing his voice in the sky, and then I started hearing my voice in the sky, and we were singing these different songs. And I wish I could really remember them, but they were like so different and weird, like almost like his new album, but even weirder. Not weird, but it was just like some shit I had never even fucking fathomed of hearing. And we were singing to each other, and that went on for like 2 days. And then like how that man just drove by in the car, it was like people were driving by in their car, and even the music in their car was sounding different. And like I said, it was like something up in the sky. It was like a speaker or something up in the sky that was like sending the music down, and it was like all around, but technically it was like coming from above. And then all the songs that people were playing in their music, it was that music. It was different versions of that music, and they were saying Ramon and TaSmoke, but they were saying Kid Cudi, and they were saying King Cudi. They wasn't saying Kid Cudi, they were saying King Cudi. And so I was like, I really don't want to call that nigga no kid, nothing, because he's not a kid. I want to call him King Cudi. And so we just had this conversation, and I remember just feeling like, this nigga is fucking, he don't like me. He think I'm fat. He got some girlfriend he fucking, and the bitch know me, and she's like taunting me or something. And it was some girl that I went to high school that was of the person who was in his body. A girl named April. I remember saying, that bitch is a slut. I don't know her. I don't know if that's how she really is. You know, I know her, but I don't know that about her. I always remember having this feeling that he had some bitch that was around him while he was watching me. And he knew I was his wife. And it just pissed me the fuck off. And then, so then, I was like, in that area for like 9 days. Like I said, my motherfucking ass was in pain. I was like hollering on the bus and shit, just hollering, and I was falling out. I was passing out. Like, I don't even know how long I was like out, but I was falling out. And nobody stole my bags at that time, but I was like literally on the ground, like if I fell out right here. But I was in an area where there was like shops like little coffee shops and shit. I remember there'd be people sitting at the coffee shop tables, and I fell out, and they just didn't even come ask me if I'm okay or nothing, or not that I know of. I just remember waking up and being like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain, and getting my bags and trying to get to the next area. And I go to like a bus stop and sit down, and then I was hearing all this weird shit in my head and having these conversations with different people, but mainly it was Scott or King Cuddy or whoever the fuck. And then I'm trying to think what the hell else happened, because something else happened. Oh, so then that's when the spirits was like, you gotta call people, you gotta wake people up. You have to call their name. And they were having me sing this song, and it was like, rise and shine, my love, welcome home. And it was like late at night when this was happening. It was like the moon. It was like I was talking to the moon or some shit, and the moon was waking these people up or something. I don't know what happened. It was some weird shit that was going on. I just didn't understand. I just know I was the vehicle for whatever was going on. And I remember something was saying, I need to get the fuck out of the United States and I need to go to Mexico. And I was like in some Mexican area at the time. I had like moved around. I was in some Mexican area. And they just had me wake up all these different people. All these different people, they had me say their name and wake them up. Oh, look, it's a bee. Hi. So that's what I remember of that day, that those stones came down. Oh, and then I remember trying to get to a bathroom. And I remember going to a bank. It was like a U.S. bank or some kind of bank. And I remember going in the door, and it was late at night too. And the door was open, because you know how they have the little lobby part, or what, not lobby, but like front part of the door. And then you go into the lobby from there, and sometimes they have like cash machines. I remember there was a cash machine there. And I remember I had to pee, because I was like, I'm not going to pee and pull my ass out in front of everybody. It's dark and shit. People going to see me naked out here. I don't want nobody to try to rape me, because that's like my main thing that I was always worried about. And so, and plus I was hella weak. And so I remember there was a cup in there on the ground. Like somebody had drank a fucking, some kind of soda from a restaurant. And I remember taking that cup out and peeing in the little corner in that cup. And then I remember when I got done peeing, because I had my bags and shit in there, I remember standing in the middle of that little area inside the building. And I had weed at the time. I don't know if I had weed at the, yeah, I had a little bit of weed. And I remember feeling like I wanted to take the weed out and smoke it. And something said, don't smoke that fucking weed in here. And so I waited until I got outside and I smoked it. And something said, if you would have smoked that weed in there, you would have went to jail for a federal offense for smoking in a bank or something like that. And so I was like, oh shit, something was supposed to happen to me, and it didn't happen that day, because somebody was watching out for me. And it was some other shit. I can't really think of it right now, because I'm like walking, talking. Hi. I'm like walking and talking, so I can't really remember exactly what happened that day. I just remember those days, because I can't even tell you what day, what happened. For real, it was, because it was like last year, it was like a year and a half ago. And during that time, okay, so I was sitting out at a bus stop because I was in pain and I had run out of money. I had no money to buy shit. And at the time, I didn't have no food stamps. And so I was just kind of out there with no money, no nothing, in pain, sitting at these fucking bus stops in this weird-ass neighborhood. I just felt like weird shit was going on. And so all these people started driving by. And I start talking. That's what happened. Putin was in my body. So I remember like a day or two after them fucking stones came out the ground, and I started hearing these songs and shit in the sky talking about some Ramon and TaSmoke. I remember my hearing went away and I couldn't think. That's what it was. That's what made me really want to fuck Scott up, but it really made me just want to die. And let me sit down at this bench. I remember I couldn't hear my own thoughts. You know how you kind of know what you're thinking or whatever you say what's on your mind? And like, I think I done got used to it now. But at that particular time, I just remember I could not fucking think. But I could hear, like I could hear Tupac talking to me, and I could hear Nipsey. And like I said, they could jump into people. So I remember Tupac jumped into somebody. And I was talking to myself, but I was really talking to them. And I remember guys coming to sit next to me, and I just knew it was Tupac and that guy. And they were saying that they were coming to pick me up. So I was like, maybe they're not really dead or something. And then I remember these voices were saying Scott was going to come pick me up. I got to get up and go to this little area or whatever, walk down to this street or whatever. And I remember these Spanish, Mexican people driving by, and they were like, this motherfucker's about to kill this bitch. They were talking shit. They were like, nigga, you got her thoughts. She don't even have her own thoughts. You're married. You're married to her, and she can't think. And the only way she can tell what she's thinking is if you make her repeat it out her mouth, and you won't speak for her. You won't make her say it out her mouth. Whatever she's thinking, fuck what y'all thinking, whatever she's saying. And then I remember the people driving by was basically telling me they were like on some kind of game, radio wavelength or something, where all of each other they could all hear each other's thoughts. And there was like different channels and shit. So they could hear me, and they could hear Smoke. And I guess Smoke is like real crazy and real wild, you know, real just crazy. Smoke is crazy. And they could hear her talking shit. And me and Scott were arguing. Or me and Ramon or whoever, we were arguing in this room. And so everybody kind of knew what was going on. And they were telling us, you're in this room going off. And this nigga don't like you because he got an attitude. Because you're cussing his ass out like big time. Like, bitch, you talking big time shit to this nigga and he don't like it. He's mad at you and he's trying to tame your ass. And then at the same time, they were like, but she's out here by herself. You got her thoughts. You got her thoughts in your head. And you're supposed to tell her what the fuck is going on. And you're not telling her. It's gonna make her want to kill herself or want to die. And then I remember when I started speaking, I was talking in their voice. And I was loud too. My voice was hella loud because I remember people driving by looking and was like looking at me like, oh shit. It was like my voice was like a trumpet. Like somebody said they could hear me like 4 or 5 miles away. They could like hear me. And it wasn't my voice. It was like Scott's voice. Or Kid Cudi or whoever the fuck, King Cudi. They could hear me like when I was talking. I couldn't hear my own thoughts. And then when I did say stuff out my mouth, it was other people's voice. And I remember Putin was in my body. And I remember Putin was talking shit because there was this van that rolled up. And they was trying to tell me to get in this van. They were like, somebody's about to take you away from here because I know you're trying to escape whatever's going on. And that motherfucker was like, don't get in that goddamn van. These motherfuckers is about to take you somewhere and do some experiments on you. They were just like, I was scared because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, somebody's about to fucking tell me to do some shit and I'm going to end up fucked up. And I remember them saying, Scott, you are in the top. You're in her head. You're controlling her head. Because I gave him control. Because whatever this marriage shit is, everybody got... Tupac's on the west side, Nipsey's on the east side, and Nas is on the bottom. But Kid Cudi's like in my head. So whatever the fuck I'm thinking, he's going to be the one to issue the command of what I want. Because it's something about everybody being able, or certain people being able to read people's thoughts. They don't want motherfuckers reading my thoughts. So they put my thoughts in his head. And he's supposed to tell me what my thoughts are. He either supposed to put it in a song, or he's supposed to make me say it out my mouth. This was at this time. And he wasn't making me say it out my mouth, and I was just so confused because there was so many fucking thoughts and energies. I just remember the Spanish people saying, this happens all the time because it's some folklore or some shit. And they always know the names of the people when they come back. They know their names, what their names is going to be. And they were saying, we're from somewhere else. And we were like caught up in some type of shit. Some type of shit, I don't know. Some type of fucking video game or some type of virtual reality shit. And like somebody getting me up and making me walk right now, and I don't really want to walk down this fucking loud ass road. But they were saying that we're in a video game. Not a video game, it was more like some fucking Galactic shit, but that's the best way to describe it. In that he's somewhere else. And he's been, like, he's up on a fucking, in the moon or some shit. And I've been down on this planet, reincarnating into different people. He's been mad at me. Because sometimes I know what's going on when I reincarnate. Sometimes I reincarnate and sometimes I don't. Like, basically, sometimes I know this nigga's my husband and I gotta fucking obey his ass and submit to his ass no matter what. And sometimes I don't. I just do my own thing. He been mad because it's been different people, different males that I've been in love with that he was pissed about it on some level. And so he wanted to get me back because I can't remember the shit, but he can. So he be getting me back. You feel me? Like he be jumping into other bitches. Like he'll make the nigga that I'm with fuck with other bitches to hurt my feelings because he knows that I'm not really from here or whatever. However it works, he know that I'm not really who I think I am. And he know these niggas ain't really who I think they are. But he can control them because he's always in them. Anybody that's with me, he's going to be in their body somehow. This motherfucker on the moon. It's coming back to me now. And they were saying that that's what he do. He get mad and he be like, fuck you, bitch. I'm about to hurt your feelings while you down here on the fucking, on earth. I'm about to fuck with you. And I be like so upset. I just had some kids and then I die. I have some kids and then I die. I always die because I'm so sad because my love is not loving me back, or he's mad at me, or he's fucking with me on some level, or somehow I kind of know it somewhere deep down. I know what's going on, but I don't. And he's been enjoying it. And they were saying, you motherfucking piece of shit. You always do this to her. Why are you doing this right now when you know what the fuck's going on? Because I guess he's in his body. He like in his body, but he's not, because we're like at all these places at the same time. But right now we're in our body, and different parts of our consciousness are jumping back into our body at different times. You feel me? Or different, you know, we're like channeling on ourselves or whatever. But he's been mad at me. That's what the story is. He's been mad at my ass. Like, he loved me, but he's mad at me for some reasons. And sometimes I don't be really knowing what the fuck be going on. And I'll be like, fuck it. I just don't want to be here. And this is kind of like what's happening right now. Because I know I'm not going to feel right if anybody else comes pick me up. And I know they're not going to let nobody else pick me up. And I know they're testing him to see if he's really going to let me sit out here and suffer like this, or if he's just going to come get me. Say, fuck everything else. Fuck all the funny little messages with this bitch out here by herself, and she needs me, and I'm going to come get her because she needs me, and she's my wife. That what they're waiting for him to fucking say and do. So he kind of said it in his album, but he's not doing it. And he still got some bitch around him that don't need to be around him. Because it's the same fuck shit. It's the same shit. And that's why Nipsey was like, no, I'm going to give you the love you need, because this nigga going to kill your ass thinking shit's funny, or listening to all these different voices instead of listening to the one that's like pure love. Like, would you do this to your fucking loved one? Like he said, you know, I did it to my loved one. I got some nerve. Don't think I'm not sorry. Well, if you're sorry, come pick me up. What the fuck are you waiting for? Are you waiting for me to really die? Because it could happen. Void. Wow. It says void. Oh, God. And then I get all these little messages and shit, like I'm doing what they want me to do, or the spirits, or however the shit goes down. Like I said, I don't really know if he knows. I know he didn't write that shit. Just like I know he didn't put that Ramon on that star over there in Hollywood. He meaning Scott. That's why I said Scott and Ramon ain't the same, and Scott and Scotty ain't the same, because I know them two motherfuckers really love me, and I know Scott don't give a fuck because he's sitting back watching this shit. And if I was his mama, he wouldn't let me go through this. If I was his daughter, he wouldn't let me go through this. I was his best friend, he wouldn't let me go through this. And if I was his wife, he damn sure wouldn't let me go through this. Or if he wanted me as his wife, he wouldn't let me go through this shit. Because they're proving through these little fucking things that are happening, they're proving this shit is real. I don't never walk down that fucking street, this street that I'm on. I never walk down the street that was on 10th Avenue. I'm on 10th and 71st or some shit. I don't never walk down that street. I always walk down 8th. All of a sudden I walk down the street and there's a fucking void. That's the name of a song that he put in his album. And that be the confirmation for me. So I'm sitting here making these videos, getting all these confirmations of shit that got to do with the visions they seen, and they're not even watching my videos. Or if they are, they're really not saying nothing. Like I said, I don't know if he's watching them or if he's channeling the spirit. Because he said, I can see what you see in a nigga like. That's what he's talking about, heaven on earth. Well, what motherfucker, how the fuck is you going to be in heaven and earth and my motherfucking ass is sitting here going through hella shit? Because I'm really not in hell. But the shit I'm experiencing is not fucking heaven. I'm in heaven in my mind because I'm at peace in my heart. But at the end of the day, I know I'm going through this, and I know that you're the nigga supposed to come pick me up, and you're playing games, trying to be Mr. Whoever. I don't know, or listening to other motherfuckers. Because somebody said something like, if we get together, somebody gonna kill him or somebody gonna kill me or something fucked up's gonna happen, and that don't have to happen. And I think that's what's been proven. Like whatever somebody bad will, ill will, evil thought somebody didn't put out there into the fucking into the fucking atmosphere, it's not gonna happen. Just because you hear it don't mean it's gonna happen. And it's kind of like I feel like he's waiting for certain shits to happen. It's like whatever story somebody wrote or he wrote or we wrote while we were mad at each other, he's still waiting for that shit to go down. And he's sitting back like, okay, bitch, on this day, you're going to be put in the mental hospital and they're going to fucking strap your ass down and shoot you up with all this shit. And it's okay, because I'm going to be with you in your body, helping you go through it. And that's a fucking lie. Because they strapped me to the floor of that fucking jail. They chained me to the floor. There's a chain on the floor with a loop on it, and they strapped my fucking handcuffs to there and had me sitting on the floor butt ass naked, screaming in the middle of the fucking precinct. Who wants to go through that? That's like some of the most traumatic shit that I've ever been through. Who wants to go through that? Because you're not really going through it, because you're wherever you're at, in the peace and tranquility of your fucking house. While I'm out here going through this shit, and I know you guys can see it. And that's why I'm upset. If you really must know, because I've been doing all of this shit for you guys. Because they told me I have to do this as part of the ritual, the spiritual casino thing, or whatever. And your ass been winning. And you don't give a fuck. Or you're just trying to get money. Or whatever. And you're not trying to really get it to be with me, because you expect me to do the same thing you guys did. And I have a whole different journey. My family started this shit. My family fucking started this game, and they don't want me to go through what the fuck you guys went through, because everybody has their own journey. And my journey consists of my fucking husband coming and pick my ass up and showing everybody this shit's real, so everybody can stop fucking with me. Which, like I said, they ain't fuck with me since I've been in this neighborhood. That's why I'm not leaving here until his ass come get me, because Nipsey's protecting me. He's making sure nothing bad happens to me, where everybody else is just sitting back saying, okay, something bad's getting ready to happen, but you need to go through it, because once you go through that, you're going to reach the next level. No, motherfuckers, I'm not doing that, because I don't have to. You understand? Scott, that's what's going on. I'm out here doing this shit because you guys, your spirits, whether it's your real spirit or you personally in your life right now, you're doing this. You're having me do shit, and I'm doing it. And I'm showing you love. Even though some of the shit is fucked up, and even if I get mad at you, I only stay mad for like 2 days, and then I start listening to your music again. Because I'm obeying. Because I know if I don't something might fucked up happen. Like you guys keep on saying, get off the leash. I guess that them cuffs, them wristbands or whatever, the bandanas I've been tying around my wrist, you guys feel like it's a leash and it's not. It may be a leash for you, but it ain't a fucking leash for me. You understand? You guys' perception of what's going on is not what's happening to me. And you're making me suffer because you want to see some shit that's not even supposed to happen. Because at the end of the day, I can leave this fucking planet. And like they told me before, this is what's been happening throughout the centuries.